The Unsc Infinity drifted through the void, its massive 3-mile hull cutting through space with the silent grace of humanity's greatest warship. Inside the bridge, Captain Thomas Lasky stood at the observation window, watching stars streak past as the ship maintained its patrol route. Behind him, the bridge crew worked efficiently at their stations, monitoring sensors, coordinating fighter patrols, managing the ship's thousands of systems. "Status report," Lasky requested. "All systems nominal, sir," the navigation officer replied. "Current position, Sector 7, 7 Delta. No contacts on long-range sensors." "Commander Palmer, what's Blue Team's status?" Sarah Palmer's voice crackled through the comm. "Chief and his team are finishing up their investigation of that Forerunner structure. Should be back aboard in 20 minutes. Lasky nodded. The Forerunner artifact they'd discovered 3 days ago had been dormant inactive for thousands of years, according to scans. But protocol required investigation. And when Forerunner technology was involved, you sent Spartans. Preferably the best Spartan. On the surface of the barren moon below, Master Chief John 117 stood before a towering structure of impossible geometry. The Forerunner installation rose from the dead rock like a monument to a civilization that had died millennia ago. Its surface shimmered with symbols that hurt to look at, directly mathematics and language combined into something that transcended both. "Chief, you seeing this?" Linda 058's voice came through his helmet comm. She was positioned on a ridge 200 meters away, her sniper rifle covering the approaches. Old habits from decades of combat. Affirmative. Chief's heads-up display was filled with data, his armor's sensors trying and failing to fully analyze the structure. Cortana, analysis? The AI fragment stored in his armor's systems, a partial copy of the Cortana who'd sacrificed herself years ago, responded with her characteristic efficiency. The structure is ancient. Pre-flood war. Energy readings are minimal, but there's something active inside. Deep inside. I recommend caution. Understood. Chief looked back at his team. Blue Team, Fred 104 and Kelly 087 were examining the structure's entrance, a doorway that had eye-rised open when they'd approached. "Fred, Kelly, what have you got?" Fred's voice was calm, professional. "Entrance is clear. No defensive systems detected. But the architecture inside is weird, non-Euclidean. It's going to be disorienting." "Then we move carefully. Standard exploration formation. Kelly, take point. Fred, rear guard. Linda, maintain overwatch." "Roger that." They entered the structure. Inside, Chief's sense of direction immediately protested. Corridors stretched in directions that shouldn't exist. Walls met at angles that geometry claimed were impossible. The Forerunners had built this place using technology that bent space itself. "I hate Forerunner structures," Kelly muttered. "They always make my head hurt." "Stay focused," Chief ordered. They moved deeper, following the faint energy signature that Cortana had detected. After 10 minutes of navigation through impossible corridors, they found it. A chamber, spherical, and at its center, floating in midair with no visible support, was an artifact. It looked like a crystalline sphere, perhaps a meter in diameter, pulsing with soft blue light. Symbols danced across its surface. Forerunner glyphs that Chief's translation software couldn't quite parse. "Chief," Cortana's voice held an edge of concern. "That artifact, it's not dormant, it's charging." "Charging? For what?" "Unknown. But energy levels are rising exponentially. I recommend immediate evacuation." "Agreed. Blue Team, fall back. Now." They turned to leave, but the artifact pulsed brighter. The glyphs on its surface began spinning faster. The chamber hummed with building energy. And Chief's motion tracker went haywire, detecting movement in every direction simultaneously, which was impossible in an empty chamber. "Chief," Fred's voice was urgent. "The entrance just sealed. We're trapped." The artifact's light intensified to blinding levels. "Cortana, what's happening?" "It's a slip space drive. A massive one. Chief, it's pulling us." Reality tore. Chief felt the sensation he'd experienced dozens of times before the gut-wrenching transition into slip space. But this was different. uncontrolled, wild. The artifact wasn't opening a calculated jump. It was ripping a hole in space-time and dragging everything nearby through it. Blue team, grab onto something. But there was nothing to grab. The chamber dissolved around them, and they were falling through a tunnel of impossible light, of colors that didn't exist, of dimensions folding in on themselves. Chief caught a glimpse of his team, Kelly tumbling through the void, Fred's armor sparking as spatial distortions tore at it, Linda. Then they hit something solid. Metal. A floor. Chief's shields had absorbed most of the impact, but his HUD showed damage. Systems rebooting. Motion tracker offline. Sensors scrambled. He pushed himself up, checking his team. They were all there, battered, disoriented, but alive. They'd materialized in some kind of corridor. Metal walls. Artificial lighting. Sound off, Chief ordered. Kelly. Systems nominal. What the hell just happened? Fred. Armor damaged but functional. That was slip space, but it felt wrong. Linda. Rifle intact. Chief, where are we? Cortana? The AI's voice was strained. Chief, we're back on the Infinity. Hangar Deck 7. But something's wrong. The transition, it pulled the entire ship with us. We didn't just jump. The artifact moved everything within its field of effect. Chief's blood ran cold. The entire ship? Yes. And Chief, I don't know where we are. None of the stars match UNSC databases. We're not in known space anymore. On the bridge, Captain Lasky gripped his command chair as the ship's emergency systems blared. Report, he barked. Sir, we just experienced an unscheduled slip space transition, the navigation officer shouted over the alarms. Source unknown. Duration, 3.7 seconds. Exit coordinates. Sir, I don't have exit coordinates. We're in an unmapped system. How is that possible? We were in the middle of a survey mission. Who authorized a jump? No one, sir. The jump initiated from an external source. Commander Palmer's voice cut through the chaos. Captain, Blue Team just materialized in Hangar 7. Chief reports they triggered some kind of Forerunner artifact. It pulled us through slip space. Lasky took a breath, forcing calm. All right, secure from emergency stations. Damage report. Minor damage across the ship, sir. Nothing critical. All systems functional. Sensors. What's our tactical situation? The sensor officer worked her station, then looked up with confusion on her face. Sir, we're detecting a large-scale engagement, approximately 200,000 kilometers from our position. Multiple capital ships. Energy weapon signatures unlike anything in our databases. On screen, the main view screen activated, showing distant flashes of light. Lasky's trained eye immediately recognized a space battleships, maneuvering, weapons firing, explosions blooming in the void. But these weren't UNSC ships, or Covenant, or Forerunner. What am I looking at? Unknown ship classification, sir. Preliminary analysis suggests two opposing forces. One side has larger vessels approximately 1.6 kilometers in length, wedge-shaped. The other side has smaller ships, various designs, approximately 200 to 300 meters. Lasky watched the battle unfold. The larger ships, the wedge-shaped ones, were methodically destroying the smaller vessels. It was a slaughter. Sir, the smaller ships are launching escape pods, and the larger ships they're targeting the pods. They're executing survivors, Lasky said quietly. The bridge fell silent. Sir, Palmer's voice came through. Orders? Lasky watched another explosion blossom as a small ship died, watched escape pods scatter, watched the wedge-shaped ships target them with what looked like turbolaser fire. Not our fight, he said finally. We don't know who's right or wrong here. We don't even know where here is. Navigation. Can you plot a course out of this system? Working on it, sir. But without reference points. On the view screen, one of the larger wedge-shaped ships fired on a cluster of escape pods. They vaporized instantly. Chief's voice came through the comm. Captain. Permission to speak freely. Granted, Chief. They're executing survivors. Non-combatants in escape pods. That makes them the enemy. Sir. Lasky stared at the screen. He'd served in the UNSC for 20 years. Had fought the Covenant. Had made impossible decisions. And he knew what Chief was really saying. There were some lines you didn't cross, some things that identified you as evil regardless of politics or context. Executing helpless survivors was one of them. Weapons, Lasky said quietly. Tactical analysis of those wedge-shaped ships. Sir, you heard me. I want a full breakdown. Shields, armor, weak points. Can we hurt them? The weapons officer worked quickly. Sir, their shield technology appears similar to Covenant energy shielding, but weaker, much weaker. Their armor is thick, but it's just metal. No energy reinforcement. Sir, our MAC guns would go through them like tissue paper. Lasky made his decision. Helm, bring us about. Heading 270 Mark IV. Weapons, spin up MAC batteries 1 through 3. Target the nearest wedge-shaped ship. Sir, are we? They're killing unarmed survivors. That's all I need to know. Target locked? Aye, sir. MAC guns charged and ready. Fire. The Imperial Star Destroyer Devastator was having a good day. Captain Jared Montferrat stood on his command bridge, watching the rebel fleet crumble before his superior firepower. 3 rebel frigates destroyed. 2 corvettes crippled. Dozens of starfighters scattered or destroyed. This was what the Empire did best. Overwhelming force. Absolute superiority. The rebels had tried to raid an Imperial supply convoy, and they'd walked into a trap. Now they were dying. Sir, the remaining rebel ships are attempting to flee, his weapons officer reported. Pursue them. I want no survivors, and target their escape pods. Leave no witnesses. Sir, targeting escape pods is against what? Rebel sensibilities? Montferrat sneered. They're traitors to the Empire. They deserve no mercy. Execute the order. Turbo lasers swiveled, targeting the fleeing pods. Montferrat watched with satisfaction as green bolts lanced through the void, vaporizing the helpless craft. Then his sensor officer spoke up, confused. Sir, I'm detecting a new contact. Large mass, very large, emerging from the debris field. Another rebel ship? Unknown, sir. The signature is, it doesn't match any known classification. It's massive, over 2,000 meters. And sir, it's moving toward us. Montferrat pulled up the tactical display. The new contact was indeed massive, larger than his Star Destroyer, and it was accelerating directly toward his position. Hail them. Demand identification. His communications officer tried, then looked up. Sir, they're not responding to Imperial protocols. They're broadcasting on an unknown frequency. Then, consider them hostile. All weapons, target that ship. Fire when ready. The Devastator's turbo lasers opened up dozens of green energy bolts streaking across space toward the unknown vessel. The mysterious ship's shields absorbed every hit, barely flickered. Sir, our weapons are having no effect. Increase firepower. Concentrate all batteries on. The unknown ship fired. Montferrat saw a streak of light moving impossibly fast, faster than any weapon he'd ever seen. It crossed the distance between the ships in less than a second. Then it hit the Devastator's shields. The shields didn't just fail, they shattered. The projectile, whatever it was, punched through them like they weren't there. Then it hit the armor. The Devastator's Durasteel hull, designed to withstand capital ship weapons, crumpled. The projectile, moving at a significant fraction of light speed, penetrated deep into the ship's interior before its kinetic energy finally dissipated. Montferrat was thrown from his feet as the entire Star Destroyer shuddered. Alarms shrieked. Entire sections of the ship went dark. Damage report. Sir, we've suffered catastrophic damage. That was a single shot. Armor penetrated on decks 7 through 42. We've lost primary power. Engines are offline. We're dead in the water. Montferrat stared in horror at his tactical display. His ship, his beautiful, powerful Imperial Star Destroyer, had been crippled by a single shot from an unknown weapon. All ships, concentrate fire on that vessel. Destroy it. Now. But the other Star Destroyers in his fleet were hesitating. They just watched the Devastator, one of the Empire's finest warships, get gutted by a single attack. The unknown ship fired again. Another Star Destroyer's shields collapsed and its hull was torn open. Then again, a third Star Destroyer crippled. 3 shots. 3 Star Destroyers out of action. The Imperial fleet broke. Ships that moments ago had been confidently slaughtering. Rebels now scrambled to retreat, their commanders suddenly realizing they were outmatched. The unknown vessel opened a communication channel. A human voice, calm, measured, authoritative. "This is Captain Thomas Lasky of the UNSC Infinity. To the fleeing vessels, you are attacking unarmed survivors. Stand down immediately, or we will continue to engage." Montferrat stared at the comm station. UNSC? What is UNSC? I've never heard of. Another Mac round hit the Devastator, this time carefully targeted to disable weapons without destroying the ship entirely. "This is your final warning," Lasky's voice continued. "Stand down." The Imperial fleet jumped to hyperspace, abandoning the battlefield. Admiral Radis stood on the bridge of his rebel frigate, unable to process what he'd just witnessed. His fleet had been dying. He'd been preparing to give the order to abandon ship, to scatter the survivors, to hope some would escape. Then this ship had appeared. He'd never seen anything like it. Massive, powerful. Its weapons had torn through Imperial Star Destroyers like they were made of plastoid, and now it was broadcasting to his fleet. "This is Captain Thomas Lasky of the UNSC Infinity. Rebel vessels, do you require assistance?" Radis found his voice. "This is Admiral Radis of the Rebel Alliance. Who? What are you?" A pause. Then, "That's a long story, Admiral. But right now your ships are damaged and you have wounded. We have medical facilities and repair capabilities. Permission to render aid?" Radis looked at his tactical officer, who shrugged helplessly. They were beaten, damaged. This unknown ship had just saved them from certain destruction. "Permission granted, Captain Lasky. And, thank you. You saved hundreds of lives today. Just doing the right thing, Admiral. Stand by, we're sending recovery craft." The hangar bay of the UNSC Infinity was unlike anything the rebels had ever seen. Admiral Radis walked down the ramp of his transport, flanked by Mon Mothma and Admiral Akbar, and stopped to stare. The bay was enormous, hundreds of meters across, filled with craft that looked nothing like Republic or Imperial designs. Sleek fighters sat in orderly rows. Larger transport craft occupied dedicated berths. And moving between them were soldiers in armor that looked sophisticated beyond anything he'd seen. "Welcome aboard the Infinity." Captain Lasky approached, extending his hand. "Captain Thomas Lasky, UNSC Navy." Radis shook it, noting the firm grip and the man's calm demeanor. This was a career military officer. He recognized the type. "Admiral Radis, this is Mon Mothma, our civilian leadership, and Admiral Akbar, fleet operations." They exchanged greetings, and Lasky led them through the ship. As they walked, Radis couldn't help but notice the soldiers they passed. All wore armor, all moved with precision, all looked dangerous. "Your ship," Mon Mothma said carefully, "is unlike anything in our galaxy. The technology, the weapons, even the soldiers. Where do you come from?" Lasky led them to a briefing room and activated a holographic display. "That's the question we're trying to answer. As far as we can tell, we're not in our home galaxy anymore. A Forerunner artifact that's an ancient alien technology pulled our ship through something similar to your hyperspace. We don't know where we are, and we can't find our way back." The hologram showed a star map, but none of the constellations matched anything the rebels recognized. "You're lost," Akbar said, "in the most literal sense possible. And yet you helped us, attacked the Empire without knowing who we were or what we were fighting for." Mon Mothma studied Lasky carefully. "Why?" "Because they were executing survivors in escape pods. Where I come from, that's a war crime. It doesn't matter what the political situation is, you don't kill helpless people. That made them the enemy." Mon Mothma smiled slightly. "I think we're going to get along well, Captain." They spent the next hour exchanging information. The rebels explained the Galactic Empire, its tyranny, the destruction of Alderaan, the Death Star, the rebellion's desperate struggle for survival. Lasky explained the UNSC humanity's long war against the Covenant, the discovery of the Halo Rings, the battles against the Flood and the Forerunners, a history of conflict that made even the Clone Wars look small by comparison. Your people have fought for decades, Radis said with respect, and survived against incredible odds. We've had help, and we've had soldiers like the one you met briefly on your way here. Lasky gestured to the hangar feed, where a tall figure in green armor was visible. Master Chief Petty Officer John, 117. Spartan 117. We just call him Chief. The rebels stared at the armored figure. Even standing still, there was something intimidating about him. What exactly is a Spartan? Mon Mothma asked. Super soldiers, augmented, trained since childhood, wearing armor that enhances their already incredible abilities. They're the best warriors humanity has ever produced, and Chief is the best of the best. How many of these Spartans do you have? On this ship? 15. In total? Perhaps 100 across UNSC space. They're rare, valuable, and when you absolutely need something impossible done, you send a Spartan. Lasky leaned forward. Now, I'll be honest with you. We need to find a way home, but that could take weeks, months, maybe longer. In the meantime, we need resources, allies, and information about this galaxy. You need military support against an empire that outnumbers you thousands to one. You're proposing an alliance, Mon Mothma said. A temporary one. We help you fight the empire. You help us find a way home. Fair? The rebels looked at each other. They just watched this ship cripple 3 Star Destroyers with 3 shots. Seen technology decades ahead of Imperial capabilities. Been offered an alliance by warriors who'd fought wars that made the rebellion look like a skirmish. There's a mission, Radis said slowly. A critical one. The Empire has a weapons research facility on Scarif. It's too well defended for our fleet to assault. We've been planning a raid for months, but the defenses. We'd lose most of our forces even if we succeeded. What kind of defenses? Lasky asked. 4 Star Destroyers in orbit, ground-based shield generator, thousands of stormtroopers, AT-AT walkers, planetary turbolaser batteries. It's a fortress. Lasky considered this. 4 Star Destroyers. How many troops would you need on the ground? 200 soldiers minimum, maybe more. And we'd need to hold the facility long enough to extract critical intelligence. What kind of intelligence? Mon Mothma hesitated, then decided to trust them. Death Star plans. The Empire is building another one. If we don't get those plans, find its weakness, the rebellion dies. Democracy dies. Freedom dies. The room fell silent. Then a new voice spoke from the doorway. I'll lead the ground team. They turned to see Master Chief standing there, his armor still scarred from the Forerunner encounter. Chief, Lasky said, you don't have to. 4 Star Destroyers. A few thousand soldiers, fortified position. Chief's voice was calm. I've done worse. Lasky looked at his best soldier, then at the rebels. Then we have a deal. Infinity will handle the orbital defenses. Chief will lead the ground assault. And when this is over, you help us find a way home. Mon Mothma stood and extended her hand. You have our word, Captain, and our gratitude. As they shook hands, sealing the alliance, Chief stood silently in the corner. He was already planning the assault. Already calculating enemy positions, tactical approaches, extraction routes. It's what he did. What he'd always done. Fight, survive, win. The Empire had no idea what was coming. The UNSC Infinity dropped out of slipspace at the edge of the Scarif system. On the bridge, Captain Lasky studied the tactical display. 4 Imperial Star Destroyers in orbit, just as the rebels had said. Dozens of smaller support ships, fighter patrols, and on the planet's surface, a massive military installation protected by shields and firepower. Analysis, he ordered. Sir, the Star Destroyers are Imperial class, same as the vessels we engaged earlier. Their shields are active, but they're still using the same frequency. Our max will punch through easily. Fighter complement? Approximately 288 TIE fighters across the 4 Star Destroyers. Our sensor profile suggests they're short-range craft. Fast, maneuverable, but lightly armored. Longsword Squadron should have no trouble engaging them. Lasky nodded. Commander Palmer, status of ground teams? Palmer's voice came through crisp and clear. Chief is loaded with 3 Spartan teams and 2 companies of ODSTs. 4 Pelicans ready for drop. Awaiting your signal. Chief, you copy? In the hangar bay, Master Chief stood in a Pelican dropship, surrounded by ODSTs checking their weapons. His motion tracker showed his Team Spartans from Fire Team Osiris and Fire Team Majestic, along with 120 orbital drop shock troopers. Copy, Captain. Ready when you are. Good hunting, Chief. Try to leave some for the rest of us. No promises. Lasky allowed himself a slight smile, then turned to his bridge crew. Helm, take us in. Weapons. Prepare Mac batteries. Let's introduce the Empire to Unsc firepower. The Imperial Admiral commanding the Scarif Defense Fleet was named Gorin. He was confident, experienced, and completely unprepared for what happened next. His sensor officer called out, "Sir, unknown contact detected. Large mass signature. Emerging from hyperspace? No, something else. Different transition signature." On screen, the view screen showed a ship. Massive, unlike any design Gorin had seen, and it was accelerating toward his fleet at combat speed. "Is that a Mon Calamari cruiser? New Rebel design?" "Negative, sir. Size classification is..." "Sir, it's larger than a superstar destroyer." Gorin frowned. "Impossible. Scan again." "Scans confirmed, sir. That vessel is over 5.7 kilometers in length." "What?" "That's..." "Hail them. Demand identification." "No response, sir. They're broadcasting on unknown frequencies." "Shall I?" The unknown ship fired. 3 flashes of light, moving impossibly fast. 3 of Gorin's star destroyers were hit simultaneously. Shields collapsed, hulls penetrated. Catastrophic damage across all 3 ships. "What was that?" "Unknown weapon type, sir. Energy levels off the scale. All 3 ships are reporting critical damage." Gorin's command ship, the Persecutor, was the only one still functional, and he was already giving orders to retreat. "All ships. Emergency hyperspace jump. Coordinates." The unknown ship fired again. The shot was perfectly calibrated, hit the Persecutor's hyperdrive, disabled it without destroying the ship. They were trapped. "Sir, the hostile is launching smaller craft, dozens of them." Gorin watched his tactical display with growing horror. Starfighters, but not like any he'd seen. They moved with precision, engaged his TIE fighters with devastating effectiveness. Within minutes, his fighter screen was shredded. Then the dropships appeared. 4 of them, heading toward the planet's surface. "Ground defense, this is Admiral Gorin. You have incoming hostiles. Unknown type. Expect heavy resistance." Master Chief watched through the Pelican's window as they descended toward Scarif. The planet was beautiful, tropical, blue oceans, white beaches. Reminded him of Reach, before the Covenant glassed it. "Chief," the pilot's voice, "we've got TIE fighters inbound, 6 contacts. Handle it." "Roger that." The Pelican's weapons systems came online. Autocannons and missiles tracked the incoming TIEs. The Imperial fighters were fast, but predictable. 3 were shot down before they could get close. The other 3 broke off, not expecting this level of resistance from transport craft. "LZ, in 30 seconds, the pilot called. Chief checked his motion tracker, showed his Spartans, his ODSTs, all green, all ready. "Listen up," he broadcast on Team Channel. "We drop. We hit the facility hard and fast. Spartans, you're with me on the primary breach. ODSTs, establish perimeter and cover R6. Rules of engagement. Anyone shooting at you is hostile. Anyone not shooting is a non-combatant. We clear?" Affirmatives all around. "Mission objective is the data core. We get in, download everything, get out. Time on target, 15 minutes. Questions?" Silence. "Good. Prepare for hot drop." The Pelican's rear ramp opened. Chief could see the landing zone, a cleared area near the Imperial facility. Stormtroopers were already forming defensive lines, setting up heavy weapons. 10 seconds. The Pelicans came in low and fast. Stormtroopers opened fire, blaster bolts peppered the dropship's shields. "Go, go, go!" Chief was first out. He dropped 3 meters to the ground, landed in a crouch, immediately assessed the tactical situation. Approximately 200 hostiles. Defensive positions at 50 meters. Heavy weapons being deployed. He raised his MA-5D assault rifle and opened fire. The stormtroopers of the 204th Garrison had trained for years. They'd fought rebel insurgents on a dozen worlds. They were confident, disciplined, and well-equipped. When the unknown dropships appeared, their commander, Captain Voss, had positioned his men in textbook defensive formations, overlapping fields of fire. Heavy weapons on the flanks, reserve forces ready to reinforce. Everything by the manual. Then the enemy soldiers emerged. Voss watched in confusion as armored figures jumped from the dropships. Their armor was like nothing he'd seen, not rebel equipment, not even advanced Republic armor. It looked alien, wrong. All units, open fire. 200 blasters fired simultaneously. Red bolts filled the air, a withering barrage that should have cut down the enemy soldiers in seconds. The armored figures walked through it. Their shields, some kind of energy shield system, absorbed the blaster fire. The bolts hit and dissipated harmlessly. And the enemy kept advancing. Then they returned fire. The sound was different from blasters, sharper, harder, and devastatingly effective. Voss watched 3 of his men go down in the first second. Their armor plastoid, designed to protect against blaster fire, was punched through like it wasn't there. The kinetic rounds the enemy used simply ignored their protection. Take cover. Concentrate fire. But it was too late. The armored soldiers moved with inhuman speed. One of them, a massive figure in green armor, sprinted forward faster than any human should be able to move. He fired in controlled bursts, and every burst dropped a stormtrooper. Another soldier, this one in similar armor, but different markings, threw something. Voss recognized it. A grenade. But it moved too fast, too accurately. It landed in the middle of a squad and detonated with force that sent bodies flying. Deploy the Unscs. We need heavy armor. 2 all-terrain scout transports stomped forward, their chin-mounted blasters tracking the enemy soldiers. These walkers had been designed to intimidate and destroy. Their armor could shrug off small arms fire. Their weapons could level buildings. They fired. The green-armored soldier, the one who seemed to be leading, simply dodged. Moved faster than should be possible, rolled behind cover, came up with a different weapon, a tube-shaped launcher of some kind. Walker, evasive. The rocket hit the first AT-ST dead center. Not on the armor, not on the shields, just through everything. The walker exploded, its power core breached, its crew dead instantly. The second AT-ST fired wildly, panic evident in its movements. The enemy soldier tracked it calmly, fired again. Another rocket, another dead walker. Voss realized something terrifying. His garrison was losing. Badly. These weren't normal soldiers. They were something else. Something beyond anything the Empire had prepared for. All units, fall back to secondary positions. Call for air support. Move. Master Chief reloaded his rocket launcher and assessed the situation. Enemy forces retreating. Good. Gave them time to advance. His HUD showed his team's status. All green. The ODSTs had established a perimeter. The other Spartans were advancing on secondary objectives. Fireteam Osiris, secure the entrance. Fireteam Majestic, suppress those heavy weapons. ODSTs, hold the LZ for extraction. Acknowledgements came back instantly. Chief moved toward the facility's main entrance, a massive blast door designed to withstand starship weapons. It was sealed, heavily armored. Would take conventional forces hours to breach. Chief pulled a charge from his belt, placed it on the door's locking mechanism, and stepped back. Breaching. The charge detonated. The lock mechanism exploded inward. The blast door, no longer secured, slowly groaned open. Entry point secured. Moving in. Inside the facility, stormtroopers were scrambling to establish defensive positions. They'd been caught off guard by the speed of the assault. Chief could see them trying to set up barricades, deploy automatic turrets, create choke points, all standard tactics, all predictable. He tossed a grenade. It bounced perfectly around a corner, detonated, took out the defensive position before they could fire a shot. Fred and Linda moved up behind him, their weapons covering side corridors. Kelly was already ahead, scouting the route to the data core. "Chief, I've got the path," Kelly reported. "Through the central corridor, down 3 levels, past security checkpoint Alpha. Maybe 40 hostiles between here and there. Then let's reduce that number. Spartans, advance." They moved through the facility like a precision instrument. Every corner was checked. Every hostile was eliminated. The stormtroopers tried to fight back. Some showed genuine courage, holding positions even when outmatched. But courage meant nothing against Spartans. Chief reached a junction and found 6 stormtroopers with a heavy repeating blaster. They opened fire immediately, the weapon designed to cut down entire squads. His shields absorbed the hits. Dropped to 40%. He ducked behind cover, waited for the weapon to pause for cooling, then moved. 3 steps. Closed the distance. Grabbed the blaster, ripped it from its mount, turned it on its operators. The weapon's fire cut through their armor like paper. They fell. Chief dropped the blaster and continued forward. Behind him, he could hear the ODSTs holding the perimeter, their weapons creating a distinctive sound different from the Covenant weapons they'd fought for so long. "Chief, this is Palmer. Scarif orbital space is secure. All Imperial ships disabled or retreated. You're clear for extraction when ready." "Understood. ETA to data core, 3 minutes." He reached a security door. Cortana's fragment interfaced with it, bypassed the locks. It slid open to reveal the facility's heart, a massive data center filled with terminals and storage systems, and 20 stormtroopers guarding it. They opened fire immediately. Chief's shields flared, dropped to 20%. He dove behind a server bank, assessed the situation. Too many for a frontal assault. Need a different approach. He pulled out his last frag grenade, activated it, threw it not at the enemy, but at the ceiling. The grenade detonated. The ceiling panels, structural supports damaged, collapsed. Half the stormtroopers were buried under debris. The others were disoriented, coughing in the dust. Chief moved through them like a ghost. 3 quick shots. 3 down. Another burst. 2 more. The remaining soldiers tried to regroup, but Fred and Kelly had entered from side entrances, catching them in crossfire. 10 seconds later, the data core was secure. "Cortana, interface with their systems. Download everything. On it. Chief, their security is primitive. This won't take long." While the AI worked, Chief moved to the room's entrance, covering their 6. His motion tracker showed more enemies approaching, but they were being intercepted by his teams. "Download complete," Cortana announced. "I've got their entire database, including Chief. I'm seeing references to something called a Death Star. A second one, under construction. Location? Endor. Forest Moon. Construction is advanced. This is bad, Chief. This weapon can destroy planets, and they're building another one. We'll deal with it. Package the data for Rebel Command. Time to extract." He activated Team Channel. "All teams, mission complete. Fighting withdrawal to the LZ. Infinity, prep for pickup." As they moved back through the facility, now filled with smoke and debris, Chief heard Palmer's voice. "Chief, you just made the entire Empire very angry. They're already broadcasting alerts about unknown hostile forces. You're famous. Good. Maybe they'll think twice about their next war crime." Outside, the Pelicans were waiting. The ODSTs had held the perimeter. Bodies of stormtroopers who'd tried to retake the LZ littered the ground. Chief was the last one aboard. As the Pelican lifted off, he looked back at the facility. Smoke rose from dozens of fires. Imperial forces were regrouping, but too late to stop the extraction. "Mission successful," he reported. "Data acquired. Team secure. 0 casualties." Lasky's voice came back with satisfaction. "Outstanding work, Chief. Welcome home." The Pelican docked with Infinity, and Chief stepped into the hangar. Waiting for him was Admiral Radis, staring in amazement. You did it. Infiltrated one of the most secure Imperial facilities in the galaxy, retrieved the data, and didn't lose a single soldier." Chief shrugged. "It's what we do. Radis laughed, a sound of relief and disbelief mixed together. Captain Lasky, I think this alliance is going to work out very well indeed. But none of them knew that the mission's success had attracted attention from the highest levels of the Empire. Attention from someone who would soon make hunting the Spartan his personal mission. The Emperor's throne room on Coruscant was dark, lit only by the city lights filtering through the massive windows. Emperor Palpatine sat in his chair, fingers steepled, yellow eyes gleaming as he listened to the report. Admiral Yularen stood at attention, his voice carefully controlled despite the news he was delivering. My lord, the Scarif facility has been compromised. The attacking force was unlike anything we've encountered. Explain. They arrived in a single warship, massive, over 5 kilometers in length, unknown design. It engaged our orbital defense fleet, 4 star destroyers, and crippled all 4 in less than 2 minutes. Palpatine's expression didn't change, but Yularen felt the temperature in the room drop. 4 star destroyers, defeated by 1 ship. Yes, my lord. Their weapons are devastating. A single shot penetrated the persecutors' shields and armor. Our analysts believe they use kinetic projectiles accelerated to relativistic speeds. And the ground forces? Approximately 120 soldiers. They assaulted a garrison of 2,000 Imperial troops, destroyed our defenses, breached the facility, stole classified data including the Death Star 2 plans, and evacuated with 0 casualties. Palpatine leaned forward slightly. 0 casualties. Against 2,000 of our soldiers. Yes, my lord. The soldiers wear advanced armor, energy shields. They move with superhuman speed and strength. Our troops describe them as unstoppable. Show me. Yularen activated a hologram. Security footage from Scarif played grainy, damaged from the battle, but clear enough. It showed a tall figure in green armor, moving through Imperial positions with mechanical precision. Every shot killed an enemy. Every movement was calculated. Every action lethal. Palpatine watched in silence as the green-armored warrior single-handedly destroyed an AT-ST walker, breached security doors, and fought through dozens of stormtroopers without slowing. What is he? We don't know, my lord. The rebels are calling this force UNSC, United Nations Space Command, apparently. They claim to be from another galaxy. Entirely. Another galaxy. Palpatine sat back. Intriguing and concerning, my lord. If they ally fully with the rebellion, then the rebellion becomes a genuine threat. Yes, I am aware. Palpatine reached into the Force, trying to sense these newcomers. There is something absent about them. I cannot feel them through the Force. They exist, but they are blank, as if they operate outside the Force's influence entirely. What are your orders, my lord? Palpatine considered for a long moment. Then he reached out through his connection to his most powerful servant. Lord Vader. Attend me. Moments later, the doors opened. Darth Vader strode into the throne room, his cape billowing, his mechanical breathing filling the silence. My master, Lord Vader, I have a task for you. A new enemy has emerged. They are powerful, dangerous, and they operate outside the Force. Palpatine gestured, and the hologram of Chief replayed. This is their champion. They call him Master Chief. I want him captured, studied, and if he cannot be turned, destroyed. Vader watched the hologram with interest. The warrior moved well, efficiently, with a discipline that reminded Vader of the old Jedi, but more brutal, more direct. No philosophizing, just combat. He fights well, Vader observed, for one without the Force. Indeed, he and his ship have allied with the rebellion. They represent a shift in the balance of power. I cannot allow that. Vader bowed. I will hunt him, my master, and I will bring him before you. See that you do. But Vader, be cautious. This warrior has defeated thousands of soldiers without injury. He may prove more dangerous than you anticipate. I have faced Jedi Masters, my lord, Sith Lords, armies. One soldier, no matter how skilled, is not beyond my abilities. Perhaps. But this one is different. I sense purpose in him. Unwavering purpose. He will not be easily intimidated or defeated. Vader turned to leave, then paused. What is his goal? His motivation? Palpatine smiled coldly. Duty. Honor. Protecting the innocent. All the virtues the Jedi claim to uphold. He actually believes them. Then he is a fool. Such beliefs are weakness. Or perhaps, Palpatine said quietly, they are what make him dangerous. A warrior without doubt, without fear, without hesitation. Be careful, my old friend. This one may surprise you. Vader left the throne room, already planning his hunt. He would find this Master Chief, would test him in combat, would prove that the Force was superior to any mere technology or training, and if the Spartan proved worthy, perhaps Vader would even enjoy the fight. Behind him, Palpatine sat in darkness, contemplating this new variable in his carefully constructed plans. The Unsc. The Spartans. This warrior who fought with the clarity and purpose of a Jedi without any of their weaknesses, it was problematic. But also, perhaps, an opportunity. If this Master Chief could be turned, controlled, he would make a far better servant than Vader. A warrior without the emotional baggage, without the pain and regret that made Vader unstable. We shall see, Palpatine murmured to the empty room. We shall see what you truly are, Spartan. The rebel base on Dantooine was supposed to be secret, hidden in grasslands, camouflaged against orbital sensors, protected by isolation and careful operational security. It housed 3,000 rebel personnel, including civilians, wounded soldiers, and command staff coordinating operations across a dozen sectors. The UNSC Infinity had docked there 2 days ago, establishing a temporary alliance headquarters. Captain Lasky and Mon Mothma were in their third strategic planning session, using the intelligence stolen from Scarif to coordinate strikes against Imperial supply lines. Master Chief stood in the command center, studying holographic displays of the Death Star II's construction. The station was 60% complete, located above Endor's forest moon, protected by an entire Imperial fleet. Chief, Lasky's voice pulled him from his analysis. What do you think? Can we assault it? Not yet. Shields are still operational from the forest moon. We'd need a ground team to disable them before Infinity could engage. And if we sent you? Chief considered. Depends on garrison strength. If it's less than a division, feasible. More than that, we'd need significant support. Mon Mothma leaned forward. Chief, I must ask, in all your years of combat, have you ever faced odds you couldn't overcome? Chief was quiet for a moment, remembering. Reach. The Flood. The Didact. I've faced impossible odds. Sometimes I win, sometimes I survive. Sometimes both. That's not particularly reassuring. It's honest. Before Mon Mothma could respond, alarms shrieked through the base. Contacts inbound. Multiple Imperial signatures. Lasky was moving before the sentence finished. Battle stations. All hands to combat positions. How many ships? The tactical officer's voice was strained. Sir, I'm reading. 8 Star Destroyers. Dozens of support vessels. Fighter screens numbering in the hundreds. Sir, this is a full sector fleet. How did they find us? Mon Mothma demanded. Chief already knew. Vader. He's been tracking our operations, studying our patterns. He figured out where we'd establish a base. Can we fight them? Lasky assessed the tactical display. 8 Star Destroyers? Infinity can handle them, but not while protecting the base. We need time to evacuate civilians. How much time? 20 minutes minimum. Then we buy it. Chief turned to the comm. Commander Palmer, deploy all Spartans and ODST companies. We hold the ground positions until evacuation is complete. Palmer's voice came back instantly. Roger that. Spartans deploying now. Chief grabbed his assault rifle. Captain, get Infinity airborne. Engage the fleet. Draw them away from the base. What about you? I'll handle ground forces. They'll send landing parties. I'll make sure they regret it. Chief. Sir, I've held positions against worse odds. Trust me. Lasky stared at his best soldier for a moment, then nodded. All right. Give them hell. Chief was already moving. Darth Vader stood on the bridge of his Super Star Destroyer, the Executor, watching Dantooine grow larger on the view screen. He'd been hunting the Spartans for 2 weeks, studying their tactics, learning their patterns. They were good, better than most enemies he'd faced. Disciplined, professional, effective. But they had weaknesses. And Vader had found one. They couldn't resist helping the weak, the rebels, the civilians, the helpless, noble, predictable, exploitable. Admiral. Status of the ground assault? Lord Vader, we have 12 landing craft deploying now, each carrying 80 stormtroopers and support equipment. Additionally, we're sending 6 AT-AT walkers and 4 AT-ST scout walkers. Nearly 1,000 soldiers. Heavy armor. Overwhelming force. Against perhaps 200 rebel defenders and however many Spartans were present. The unknown warship is launching, the Admiral reported. The Infinity. It's moving to intercept our fleet. Let it. While it's occupied with our Star Destroyers, we will crush the ground forces and capture their champion. Vader watched the tactical display. He could feel it through the force the rebel base below, thousands of frightened life signs scrambling to evacuate. And among them, something else. Not quite empty, but muted, difficult to sense. The Spartans. I'm going down, Vader announced. My lord, I will lead the ground assault personally. This Master Chief has evaded me twice. Not again. As you command, Lord Vader. Vader's shuttle launched from the Executor's hangar, flanked by TIE fighters. As it descended toward Dantooine's surface, he reached out through the force, searching for his prey. There. A presence. Not in the force, but defined by its absence. Like a void in the shape of a warrior, moving with purpose toward the perimeter defenses. Soon, Vader murmured. Soon we will see what you truly are, Spartan. Master Chief stood at the base's northern perimeter, watching the Imperial landing craft descend through Dantooine's cloudy sky. His motion tracker showed his forces, 12 Spartans, 80 ODSTs, and maybe 100 rebel soldiers willing to fight, against nearly 1,000 Imperials. Spartans, sound off. Fred's voice came first. Blue team ready. Fire team Osiris ready, Locke reported. Fire team Majestic ready, Commander Palmer added. Good. Rules of engagement. Hold the line for 20 minutes. After that, fighting withdrawal to the evacuation zone. We clear? Affirmatives echoed back. Chief watched the first landing craft touch down 2 kilometers away. Stormtroopers poured out, forming ranks with military precision. More craft landed, then more. The grassland was rapidly filling with white-armored soldiers. Here they come. The Imperial force advanced in formation textbook assault formation, overlapping fire lanes, heavy weapons on the flanks, by the book tactics that would overwhelm most defenders. Chief let them close to 800 meters, then 600, then 400. Snipers. Fire. Linda's voice was calm. Target acquired. Her SRS-99S 5 AM sniper rifle cracked, 800 meters away. An Imperial officer's head exploded. The formation wavered, confused. Other Spartan snipers opened up. 1 shot, 1 kill. Officers, heavy weapon operators, specialists. The Imperial's command structure started to fragment. Now, hit them with everything. The perimeter defenses opened fire. ODST machine guns, rebel blasters, Spartan assault rifles. The grassland erupted in crossfire. Stormtroopers fell in waves. Their armor, designed for blaster resistance, offered no protection against kinetic rounds traveling at supersonic speeds. Dozens died in the first volley. But there were hundreds more. AT-ATs advancing, someone called. Chief saw them 4 massive walkers, 20 meters tall, advancing with mechanical precision. Their chin-mounted heavy blasters fired, explosions cratering the defensive positions. Spartans, I need those walkers down. Split into teams, use rockets, and focus fire. On it, Palmer responded. Chief watched as his Spartans moved with coordinated efficiency. 2 teams flanked right, 2 flanked left. They used the terrain, the rolling grassland, Small hills, scattered rock formations to close distance while avoiding the walkers' weapons. An AT-AT's blaster caught an ODST position, vaporizing 3 soldiers instantly. Fall back to secondary positions, Chief ordered. Leapfrog withdrawal. The defenders moved in disciplined retreat, one group providing covering fire while another fell back, then reversing. It was a tactic drilled into every UNSC soldier. The Imperials tried to press the advantage, rushing forward. Chief let them come. When they were 200 meters from the secondary line, he activated the surprise. Blow the charges. Across the grassland, buried explosives detonated. The advancing stormtroopers were caught in a kill zone of fire and shrapnel. Hundreds died in seconds. But the AT-ATs kept coming. Fred's voice crackled over the comm. Blue team in position, engaging Walker Target Alpha. Chief watched through his HUD as blue team fired rockets at the lead AT-AT's legs. The first rocket hit armor, exploded harmlessly. The second hit a joint, damaged it. The third hit the same spot, and the walker's leg buckled. The massive machine crashed to the ground, shaking the earth. One down, Kelly reported, moving to target Bravo, but the Imperials were adapting. AT-ST scout walkers moved forward to screen the remaining AT-ATs, and more landing craft were deploying troops. Chief checked his HUD timer. 12 minutes until evacuation complete. 8 minutes to go. They could hold. Probably. Then his motion tracker pinged. New contact, moving fast from the Imperial LZ, heading directly toward his position. And somehow, Chief knew exactly who it was. Darth Vader walked through the battlefield with absolute purpose. Stormtroopers scrambled out of his way. Officers saluted. Wounded soldiers tried to stand at attention. He ignored them all. His senses focused forward. The Spartans were ahead, fighting with discipline and skill that would have impressed him if he were capable of being impressed. They were holding against numbers that should have overwhelmed them, but numbers meant nothing, not against the Force. He reached the front line, a cratered mess of destroyed defenses and dead soldiers. Rebel and Imperial corpses mixed together. The smell of ozone and blood thick in the air. There, on a small rise, coordinating defensive positions, stood a figure in green armor, taller than normal humans, moving with purpose and authority. Master Chief. Vader began walking toward him. Blaster fire streaked past. The rebels hadn't noticed him yet. He deflected the bolts casually with his lightsaber, not even looking at the shooters. A rocket screamed toward him. Vader raised his hand, caught it with the Force mid-flight, and redirected it into a rebel position. The explosion killed 3 soldiers. Now they noticed him. "Cease fire!" someone shouted. "That's Vader. Vader is here." The rebel line wavered. Panic rippled through their ranks. Darth Vader's reputation preceded him, the Empire's ultimate enforcer. Unstoppable, merciless. But Chief didn't waver. He turned toward Vader, raised his MA-5D assault rifle, and fired a controlled burst. Vader's lightsaber came up, deflecting most of the rounds. A few got through his armor, absorbed them, but he felt the impacts. These weren't the weak blasters the rebels used. These were kinetic projectiles. Dangerous. "Spartans," Chief's voice broadcasted on Team Channel. "I've got Vader. Focus on the walkers and evac protection. Do not engage him. That's an order." "Chief, you can't face him alone," Fred started. "That's an order, Fred. Complete the mission." Chief started walking toward Vader, his assault rifle lowered but ready. The 2 warriors approached each other across the battlefield, surrounded by chaos but moving in their own bubble of focus. They stopped 5 meters apart. "So," Vader's filtered voice said, "the famous Master Chief, I have been searching for you. Darth Vader. I've heard about you too. The Emperor's attack dog. If Vader was offended, his mask didn't show it. You fight well for someone without the Force. But you cannot win. The Empire is inevitable. The rebellion will die. And you are merely delaying the inevitable." Chief loaded a fresh magazine. "I've been fighting impossible odds my entire life. The Empire is just another enemy. Confident, arrogant perhaps. We shall see how your confidence holds against the power of the dark side." Vader gestured. and Chief felt something grab him, an invisible force trying to lift him off the ground. His boots scraped against the dirt, his armor's servos straining. Force telekinesis, powerful. Chief activated his armor's magnetic boots, anchoring himself to the metal debris scattered around the battlefield. The force pull intensified, but he held. Impressive, Vader admitted. Your armor has countermeasures, but how will you deal with this? Vader thrust his hand forward, and force lightning erupted, blue-white electricity arcing toward Chief. Chief's shields flared, absorbing most of it. His HUD showed shield strength dropping. 85%, 70%, 60%. He dove to the side, rolled, came up firing. His assault rifle barked, sending rounds at Vader's center mass. Vader deflected with his lightsaber, the blade moving in patterns too fast to follow. But Chief's fire was relentless, constant, forcing Vader on the defensive. Then Chief switched tactics. He pulled a grenade, cooked it for 2 seconds, and threw it not at Vader but at the ground between them. Vader sensed the danger, tried to force push the grenade away. It detonated mid-air. The blast wave hit both warriors. Chief's shields dropped to 30%. Vader was thrown backward, his concentration broken. Chief pressed the advantage. He charged forward, faster than normal humans could move, and pulled out his energy sword taken from a Sanghaili elite years ago. The blue blade ignited as he swung at Vader. Vader's lightsaber came up to block. Energy sword met lightsaber in a shower of sparks. That blade, Vader said, genuinely surprised. Where did you? Chief attacked again, and again. Each strike powerful, calculated, aimed at weak points in Vader's defense. His Spartan training combined with decades of combat experience made him a formidable opponent, even without the Force. Vader blocked, parried, riposted. This Spartan was good, better than good. His technique was crude by Jedi standards, no finesse, no flourish, but brutally effective. They dueled across the battlefield, their blades clashing, energy crackling. Around them, the battle continued, Spartans destroying walkers, stormtroopers dying to ODST fire, the base evacuating. But in this moment, for these two warriors, nothing else existed. Chief felt Vader's power through each blade clash. The Dark Lord was strong, stronger than almost anyone Chief had fought, and he had the Force an advantage that was hard to counter. But Chief had something Vader didn't expect: stubbornness, pure, unbreakable will. He'd survived the Flood, destroyed Halo rings, fought Forerunners. One Sith Lord wasn't going to stop him. The duel continued for 2 minutes. Chief managed to land a solid kick to Vader's chest, denting the armor plating. Vader used force push to send Chief flying backward into a crater. They were evenly matched, neither gaining clear advantage. Then Palmer's voice crackled through. "Chief, evacuation complete. All civilians are aboard transports. We need to go." Chief blocked another lightsaber strike, their blades locked. "Copy that. All teams, fall back to extraction zones. Fighting withdrawal." "What about you?" Fred asked. "I'll be right behind you. Go." Vader felt his praised determination. This warrior wouldn't abandon his team, wouldn't leave until everyone else was safe. It was admirable, and it made him predictable. "They're leaving without you, Spartan. You will die here alone. I don't abandon my people, something you wouldn't understand." Chief broke the blade lock, fired his assault rifle one-handed at point-blank range. Vader deflected most rounds but took 2 hits to his chest armor. Minor damage, but it drove him back. Chief turned and ran. Not in panic, not in fear, in tactical withdrawal. He'd accomplished his mission, buy time for evacuation. Now it was time to extract. Vader pursued. "You cannot escape. The Force guides me. I will hunt you across this galaxy." Chief's Pelican dropship roared overhead, its ramp already lowering. Chief activated his grapple hook, fired it at the ship, and was yanked into the air. Vader reached out with the Force, trying to pull the Pelican down. But the ship's engines were too powerful, its momentum too great. It strained against his telekinetic grip, then broke free. "Spartans, get to your Pelicans. Extract now." Across the battlefield, Pelicans swooped in to retrieve the UNSC forces. The withdrawal was clean, professional, practiced. Within 2 minutes, every Spartan and ODST was airborne. Vader stood in the center of the battlefield, surrounded by hundreds of dead stormtroopers and destroyed walkers, watching the enemy escape. His comm crackled. "Lord Vader, the unknown warship has disabled 4 of our Star Destroyers. We're retreating. Do you require pickup?" "Yes." Vader deactivated his lightsaber. "But first, send a message to all Imperial forces. I want the Spartans tracked, their ship monitored, their every movement reported to me personally. My lord, the Emperor, will be informed. But this hunt is mine. The Spartan challenged me, fought me to a standstill. He is worthy prey." As Vader's shuttle arrived to retrieve him, he replayed the fight in his mind. The Spartan's techniques, his weapons, his tactics. No force powers, no supernatural abilities. Just training, technology, and an unbreakable will. "Interesting," Vader murmured. "Very interesting indeed." He would study this enemy, learn everything about him. And when they met again, and they would meet again, Vader would be prepared. The hunt had truly begun. 3 weeks passed. The UNSC Infinity conducted 7 operations with the Rebel Alliance, each one successful, each one leaving Imperial forces devastated. Master Chief led a raid on an Imperial supply depot, destroyed 80% of their stockpiles, escaped with 0 casualties. Chief infiltrated an Imperial communications hub, downloaded intelligence on fleet movements, destroyed the facility. Chief ambushed an Imperial convoy carrying experimental weapons, captured the weapons for Rebel use, killed all guards. After each mission, the Rebels marveled at the Spartans' effectiveness. Mon Mothma called Chief the most dangerous soldier in the galaxy. Admiral Akbar said the Spartans could turn the tide of the entire war. But Captain Lasky noticed something else. "Chief," he said during a briefing on Infinity's bridge, "Imperial response times are getting faster. They're showing up at our operations with better intel, better preparation. It's like they're learning our tactics." Chief studied the tactical displays. "They are. Vader's coordinating the response. He's been at every major engagement in the past 2 weeks, sometimes personally, sometimes directing forces. He's making this personal. He made it personal the moment he decided to hunt Spartans." Palmer leaned against the tactical table. "Chief, we need to talk strategy. Every time we engage Imperial forces, Vader shows up. He's tracking us somehow." "Agreed. Which means we either stop conducting operations." "Not an option," Mon Mothma interjected. "The rebellion needs these strikes. They're the only thing keeping us in the fight. Or we use the fact that he's tracking us," Chief finished. Lasky caught on immediately. "You want to set a trap. He wants me. Let's give him what he wants. Draw him away from Rebel operations. Make him commit forces to hunting me while the rebellion hits real targets. That's suicide, Chief. You'd be making yourself bait. Done it before. Fought the Covenant, the Flood, the Didact. I'm still here. Those weren't Vader." Chief was quiet for a moment. He'd fought Vader 3 times, now brief skirmishes, interrupted engagements. Each time, neither had gained decisive advantage. The Sith Lord was powerful, skilled, dangerous. But so was Chief. "I can handle him." "Can you?" Mon Mothma asked gently. "Chief, I've read your file. You've accomplished incredible things. But Vader is different. He's killed Jedi Masters, destroyed armies. They say he can kill with a thought. They say a lot of things. Most of it is psychological warfare. He's powerful, but he's not invincible. I've seen his weaknesses, such as overconfidence. He expects enemies to be afraid. When they're not, he adapts, but it throws him off balance. And his armor, its life support. Damage it, and he's vulnerable." Lasky considered this. "All right, if we're doing this, we do it smart. What's the plan?" Chief pulled up a star map. "Imperial Research Station, classified, located in the Outer Rim. Intelligence suggests they're working on advanced weapons. You want to raid it. I want to make a lot of noise doing it. Ensure the Empire knows I'm there. Vader will come, and while he's busy with me, Rebel strike teams hit 3 supply convoys, here, and here. Chief marked locations on the map. Convoys, carrying resources for the Death Star construction. Mon Mothma smiled slightly. Use Vader's obsession against him. Force him to choose between hunting you and protecting critical resources. He'll choose me. His pride won't let him do otherwise. And if he kills you? Chief checked his assault rifle, reloaded it from habit. He won't. You sound very certain. I am. I've been in combat for 40 years. Fought enemies that would give Vader nightmares. I don't die easy. Palmer snorted. That's an understatement. Sir, if you're doing this, you're not going alone. I'm assigning Blue Team and Fire Team Osiris. Negative. Need them on the convoy raids. This is a solo infiltration. Chief, Commander, I work better alone for this kind of mission. Insertion, intelligence gathering, sabotage, extraction. It's what I was trained for. What you were trained for was dying gloriously for the Unsc. That's literally what Spartans were designed to do. And I'm very bad at dying. Been doing it wrong for decades. Despite the tension, Lasky chuckled. All right, Chief, you've got your mission, but I want constant communication. First sign of trouble, we extract you. Clear? Clear, sir. Then gear up. You deploy in 6 hours. As the briefing broke up, Fred caught Chief's arm. John, be careful. Vader isn't like the enemies we've fought before. I know, do you? The Covenant had honor. The Flood was mindless. The Forerunners were logical. Vader is something else. He's intelligent, powerful, and he doesn't follow any rules. Chief looked at his oldest friend. They'd trained together as children, fought together for 40 years. Fred knew him better than anyone. I'll be careful, Chief promised. But this needs to be done. If Vader's hunting me, I need to understand him. Learn how he fights, find his weaknesses. This is reconnaissance as much as it's a trap. Just come back. Kelly and Linda would never forgive me if I let you die. I always come back. Fred smiled slightly. Yeah, you do. The Imperial Research Station hung in the void of the Quelii sector, a remote, classified facility where the Empire conducted weapons development away from prying eyes. It was lightly defended. Deliberately so. Master Chief approached in a captured Imperial shuttle, his transponder code stolen from the Scarif raid. The station's sensors read him as a supply transport and waved him through without question. He docked at an outer airlock, breached the door with careful plasma charges, and entered the station. Empty corridors greeted him. Too empty. Cortana, scan for life signs. I'm detecting approximately 200 personnel, most concentrated in the Central Command section. But Chief, the distribution is wrong. They're positioned like they're waiting for something. They know I'm here. Looks that way. Chief checked his motion tracker. Clear for now. But that wouldn't last. He moved through the station with practiced stealth, heading for the data core. His mission was simple. Steal the research data, plant explosives, extract before the station could mount an effective response. But every corridor felt wrong. Every junction too quiet. Every room too perfectly positioned to become a kill zone. This was a trap, and Chief had walked right into it. Chief. Cortana's voice held urgency. I'm picking up a new contact. Just docked at the main hangar. Signature matches. It's Vader's shuttle. He's here, and he brought friends. I'm detecting 40 stormtroopers deploying, plus Vader himself. Chief reached the data core and began downloading. Time to complete? 3 minutes. Then I hold for 3 minutes. He set up defensive positions, barricaded the entrance, activated proximity sensors, drew his assault rifle and checked ammunition. 200 rounds, 4 grenades, 1 energy sword, against Vader and 40 stormtroopers. Not the worst odds he'd faced. The download completed. Chief uploaded the data to Infinity's servers, then armed the explosives he'd placed throughout the station. Timer, 10 minutes. Then the blast doors sealed. Emergency lighting kicked in red and ominous. The temperature dropped as environmental controls were overridden. Through the sealed door, Chief heard it. Mechanical breathing. Master Chief. Vader's voice, amplified by his mask, echoed through the facility. Welcome. I have been waiting. Chief activated his comm. "Captain, I've got the data, but Vader's here. Facility is locked down." Lasky's voice came back tense. "Can you extract?" "Working on it. Be advised, I'm going dark for a bit. Don't come looking unless I miss my extraction window." "Chief," he cut the comm. Couldn't risk distraction. The blast doors began to glow. Vader was cutting through them with his lightsaber. It would take time. The doors were thick durasteel, but not much time. Chief prepared, positioned himself with clear sightlines, chambered around. The door fell inward, molten metal glowing. Smoke poured through. Then Vader stepped into the room, red lightsaber ignited, black armor gleaming in the emergency lights, presence filling the space like a physical weight. "You came alone," Vader observed. "Bold or foolish. Could say the same about you," Chief replied. "I am never alone. The Force is with me. Always. The Force didn't help you last time. Last time was reconnaissance. This time is capture. The Emperor wishes to study you, to understand what you are. You will come with me, Spartan. Alive if possible. Dead if necessary." Chief raised his assault rifle. "Neither is going to happen," Vader gestured, and the rifle was ripped from Chief's hands by invisible force. It flew across the room, clattered against the wall. "Your weapons are useless. I am beyond such things." Chief drew his energy sword. The blue blade ignited with a distinctive hum. "Let's test that theory." They clashed in the center of the data core, and this time, there were no interruptions, no distractions, no missions to complete. Just two warriors. One final test of skill. The fight was brutal. Vader used the Force constantly, throwing equipment, collapsing walls, trying to crush Chief with telekinesis. Each attack was powerful, dangerous, calculated. Chief countered with technology and tactics. His shields absorbed Force lightning. His strength let him resist telekinetic pulls. His speed let him dodge attacks that should have killed him. The energy sword met the lightsaber again and again, sparks flying, energy crackling. "You are skilled," Vader admitted, pressing his attack. "For one without the Force. But you cannot win. The dark side is power beyond your comprehension." Chief parried a strike, responded with a punch to Vader's face. The Sith Lord's mask cracked slightly. "The dark side is a crutch. You rely on it so much you forgot how to actually fight." "Insolent." Vader's rage powered his next attack, a flurry of strikes that drove Chief backward. The Spartans' shields dropped under the onslaught. 70%, 50%, 30%. But Chief had fought angry enemies before. Anger made you sloppy, predictable. He waited for the opening. There, Vader overextended on a thrust. Chief sidestepped, grabbed Vader's lightsaber arm, and drove his knee into Vader's elbow joint. Cybernetics creaked. Vader's grip faltered. Chief grabbed the lightsaber and threw it across the room. For a moment, they stood face to face. Spartan and Sith. Both disarmed, both damaged. "Impressive," Vader said. "You fight like a warrior, not like a soldier. There's a difference? Soldiers follow orders. Warriors choose their battles." Vader raised his hand, and his lightsaber flew back to his grip. "I am beginning to understand why the Emperor fears you." He should. They resumed fighting, but the station was collapsing around them. Chief's explosives were on a timer, and that timer was running out. Chief checked his HUD. 2 minutes until detonation. He needed to extract. Now, he threw his last grenade, not at Vader, but at the room's structural supports. The explosion brought down half the ceiling. Vader was caught in the debris, momentarily pinned. Not hurt, but delayed. Chief ran. Through corridors, past stormtroopers who tried and failed to stop him. Toward the hangar where he docked his shuttle. Behind him, he heard Vader's rage. "Spartan, this is not over. I will find you again. I will hunt you across every system. You cannot hide from me." Chief reached the hangar. His shuttle was still there, untouched. He boarded, sealed the hatch, fired engines. The station shuddered as the first explosives detonated. Chief's shuttle launched just as the research station began to tear itself apart. Explosions rippled through its structure. Sections broke away. The facility that had taken years to build was destroyed in minutes. Vader's shuttle launched moments later, pursuing. But Chief had a head start. He jumped to lightspeed coordinates already programmed before Vader could close distance. Master Chief materialized in real space near the Infinity's location. The massive warship immediately moved to recover him, its hangar bay already opening. Chief docked, powered down systems, and finally allowed himself to relax. His armor was damaged. Shields at 5%, several systems offline. Burns on his chest plate from lightsaber near misses. But he was alive. Captain Lasky met him in the hangar. Chief, Sitrep, mission successful. Data acquired, station destroyed. Vader engaged and evaded. Injuries? Minor. Armor took most of it. Chief, your armor looks like it went through a shredder. It'll repair. How did the convoy raids go? Lasky smiled. All 3 convoys destroyed. Minimal casualties. Vader's entire fleet was looking for you, so the convoys were undermanned. The rebellion is calling it one of their biggest victories in months. Good. That's what mattered. Palmer approached, looking Chief over critically. You look like hell. Feel like it too. Was it worth it? Learning about Vader? Chief considered. Yes, I understand him now. His fighting style, his tactics, his weaknesses. And he's powerful. Maybe the most powerful enemy I've faced in direct combat. But he's not invincible. His cybernetics are vulnerable to electromagnetic pulses. His armor can be damaged, and his rage makes him predictable. So you can beat him? In a straight fight? Unknown, but I can fight him to a draw, and that's enough. Lasky put a hand on Chief's shoulder. Get to medical. Get checked out. That's an order. Sir, Chief, you just fought Darth Vader solo for 10 minutes and survived. You've earned a break. Take it. Chief nodded and headed toward medical. As he walked, he replayed the fight in his mind. Every strike, every move. Learning, adapting. Vader was hunting him, but Chief was hunting right back. And when they met again and they would meet again, Chief would be ready. Meanwhile, on the Executor, Darth Vader stood in his meditation chamber. The chamber was dark, pressurized, allowing him to remove his mask and breathe without the respirator for brief periods. It was the only time he could think clearly without the pain. He touched his damaged mask, the crack where the Spartan had punched him. A mark, a reminder. He marked me, Vader said quietly. No one has marked me since Obi-Wan. The Emperor's hologram appeared. Lord Vader, report. The Spartan escaped my master. The research station was destroyed. But I learned much. Did you? He is as skilled as the report suggested. Perhaps more so. He fights without fear, without hesitation. And without the Force, he matches me in combat. Does he defeat you? No. But neither do I defeat him. We are evenly matched. Palpatine was silent for a long moment. This concerns me, Lord Vader. You are my enforcer, my champion. If this Spartan can match you, what does that say about your power? It says he is worthy, my master, worthy of being hunted, worthy of being tested. And when I finally defeat him, and I will defeat him, it will prove the superiority of the dark side over any technology. See that you do. The rebellion is growing bolder with these Spartans as allies. They must be stopped, and this Master Chief must be killed. I will kill him, Master, but not yet. First, I will break him, make him understand the futility of resistance. Then, when he is at his lowest, I will end him. Do not let your pride blind you, Lord Vader. This warrior has earned your respect. Do not also grant him victory. The hologram faded. Vader replaced his mask, feeling the machine seal around his head, hearing his breathing return to the mechanical rhythm he'd lived with for years. Respect, he murmured. Yes, I respect him. Which is why I will enjoy killing him. He called up every piece of intelligence they had on the Spartans, every battle report, every tactical analysis, every scrap of information, and he studied. The Master Chief was formidable, but Vader was patient. He would learn, adapt, prepare, and when they met again, there would be no escape, no interruptions, just warrior against warrior, to the death. The rebel briefing room was packed, Every major commander of the alliance was present. Mon Mothma, Admiral Akbar, General Medine, Lando Calrissian, and representing the UNSC, Captain Lasky, Commander Palmer, and Master Chief. The holographic display at the center showed the forest moon of Endor, the Death Star 2 in orbit above it, and the massive Imperial fleet protecting both. Mon Mothma spoke first. "This is it. Our last chance. Intelligence confirms the Death Star is operational, despite being incomplete. The Emperor himself is overseeing final construction. If we don't strike now, the Empire will have an unbeatable weapon." Admiral Akbar pointed to the tactical display. "The station is protected by an energy shield generated from the forest moon. We cannot engage it until that shield is down." "Which is where we come in," Lasky said. "Infinity can handle the Imperial fleet once the shield drops. But we need a ground team to disable the generator." General Medine pulled up terrain maps. "The shield generator is here, on the moon's surface. Intelligence suggests a garrison of approximately 2 Imperial legions. That's over 10,000 soldiers, plus walkers, fortifications, and whatever other defenses they've prepared. We'll send a strike team," Mon Mothma said. "Small, fast, insert by stealth, and—" "Won't work," Chief interrupted. Everyone turned to look at him. "If Vader's there, he'll sense any Force users you send, and he'll be there. This is too important for him to miss." "Then what do you suggest?" "I go. With a Spartan team and ODST support, we insert via drop pods from high orbit. Fast entry. Hit the generator before they can organize a defense." "Drop pods?" Lando asked. "From orbit. That's suicide. It's called ODST. Orbital Drop Shock Trooper. We've been doing it for decades. It works." Palmer leaned forward. "Chief, if Vader's there, you'll be walking into a trap. He's been hunting you for weeks. This is exactly the kind of situation he'd set up to capture or kill you." "I know. But the mission comes first. The shield has to come down. Whatever happens between me and Vader is secondary." Lasky studied his best soldier. Chief's armor was repaired from the last engagement, but Lasky could see the determination in his posture, the acceptance of what this mission might cost. "Chief, I need to know. Can you beat Vader? If it comes down to one-on-one combat, can you win?" Chief was quiet for a long moment. "Unknown, sir. We've fought 3 times. Each time ended inconclusively. He's powerful. Maybe more powerful than anything I've faced in direct combat. But I can hold him long enough for the mission to succeed. That's what matters." "You're talking about sacrificing yourself. I'm talking about completing the mission. If I survive, good. If not, the shield still comes down." Mon Mothma's expression was pained. "Chief, you've done so much for the rebellion already. More than we could have hoped. You don't have to." "Yes, I do. This is what Spartans were made for. Impossible missions. Sacrificing ourselves so humanity survives. This is no different." The room fell silent. Finally, Lasky spoke. "All right. Chief leads the ground assault. But we do this right. Full Spartan deployment, all 15 Spartans we have aboard, plus 2 companies of ODSTs. 240 soldiers. That should be enough to take the generator and hold it until the fleet engages." "What about me?" Lando asked. "I'm supposed to lead the starfighter assault on the Death Star's reactor." "You still do that," Lasky confirmed. "Infinity will handle the Star Destroyers. You and the Rebel fighters hit the Death Star itself. Coordinated strike. Maximum effect." Admiral Akbar studied the battle plan. "It could work, if the timing is perfect, if the shield comes down exactly when we need it. If the Imperial fleet doesn't overwhelm us before." "It's a trap," Chief said flatly. Everyone stared at him. "Excuse me?" Akbar said. "Palpatine wouldn't leave the Death Star this exposed unless he wanted us to attack. He's using it as bait, drawing the entire Rebel fleet into one location so he can destroy us all at once." That's exactly what I was going to say," Akbar admitted. "But how did you?" "Because it's what I would do. He's a strategic thinker. This is textbook bait and trap, which means when we arrive, the Imperial fleet will be larger than expected, better positioned, and Vader will definitely be on the moon, waiting. So we're walking into a trap knowing it's a trap?" "Yes. Because we don't have a choice. The Death Star has to be destroyed, even if it costs the entire rebel fleet. Chief looked around the room. But we're not going in blind. We know it's a trap, so we prepare accordingly. He pulled up modified tactical displays. Infinity jumps in first, draws Imperial fire. Their Star Destroyers will focus on the biggest threat us. That gives the rebel fleet time to deploy fighters in position for the assault. Meanwhile, I'm already on the ground, taking down the shield. You'll drop before the fleet arrives? Palmer asked. 30 minutes before. Solo drop. Insert at the generator, begin sabotage before the Imperial garrison even knows we're there. Chief, that's insane. You'll be alone against 10,000 soldiers. For 30 minutes. Then you drop with the rest of the Spartans and ODSTs. By then, I'll have the generator partially disabled and defensive positions prepared. Lasky shook his head. I don't like it. Too much can go wrong. Everything about this mission is wrong, sir. But it's the only chance we have. Mon Mothma stood. I'm authorizing the operation. Chief, you have command of ground forces. Captain Lasky, you command the space battle. We attack in 18 hours. May the Force be with us all. As the briefing broke up, Chief's team gathered around him. Fred spoke first. John, this is a one-way trip. You know that, right? Missions don't get more dangerous than this. I've made peace with it. Kelly punched his shoulder. Well, we haven't. So don't you dare die on us. We've been fighting together for 40 years, not ending it on some forest moon. Linda simply nodded. Her silence said more than words. Chief looked at his oldest friends, the people he'd trained with as children, fought beside through countless battles, survived hell with. If something happens to me, nothing's going to happen, Fred interrupted. Because we'll be right behind you. 30 minutes. That's all. You hold for 30 minutes, we extract you. Mission complete. And Vader? Fred's expression hardened. If Vader wants you, he goes through all of us. Chief almost smiled. Appreciated. But if it comes down to me or the mission, we know. Kelly's voice was heavy. We know the stakes. Just try to come back, okay? I always do. 18 hours later, Master Chief stood alone in a drop pod, armor sealed, weapons loaded, preparing for the most dangerous insertion of his life. The pod was a modified ODST single-occupant exo-atmospheric insertion vehicle, designed to drop a soldier from orbit through hostile airspace and deliver them to the surface intact. In theory, Chief, Lasky's voice came through the comm. Final systems check. You're showing green across the board. Confirmed. Ready for drop. Chief. Lasky paused. Good luck down there. Thank you, sir. See you on the other side. Launch in 3, 2, 1. Drop. The pod explosive bolts fired. Chief was thrown into space, the pod accelerating toward Endor's forest moon at terminal velocity. No stealth, no subtlety, just speed and violence. The pod hit the atmosphere, and the world became fire. Friction heated the hull to over 3,000 degrees. Chief's HUD showed external temperature rising, structural integrity holding at 94%, 89%, 82%. Then the retro thrusters fired, and the pod decelerated hard enough to crush a normal human. Chief's augmented body and armor absorbed the G-forces. The pod impacted the forest floor like a meteor. Chief kicked open the door and stepped out into Endor's twilight forest. Massive trees surrounded him, each trunk thick enough to hide a warthog. The air was clean, breathable, alive, beautiful. Under other circumstances, he might have appreciated it. Cortana, where's the shield generator? 2.3 kilometers north. And Chief, I'm detecting movement. Lots of movement. The Imperial garrison knows you're here. Expected. Let's move. He started running through the forest, his motion tracker lighting up with contacts. Dozens, then hundreds. The entire garrison was mobilizing. Perfect. While they were focused on him, they wouldn't be ready for the main assault force. Chief reached the shield generator complex within 10 minutes. It was massive, a technological installation the size of a city block, surrounded by bunkers, AT-AT walkers, and thousands of stormtroopers forming defensive perimeters. and standing in the center, clearly waiting, was Darth Vader. Chief stopped at the tree line, studying the situation. This was it. The final confrontation. Everything had been building to this moment. His comm crackled. "Chief, this is Lasky. Infinity is jumping to Endor now. Time to drop is 28 minutes. Can you hold?" "Affirmative." "Beginning assault now." "Chief, sensors are showing Vader's presence on the moon. He's at the generator. If you engage him..." "I know, sir." Chief out. He checked his weapons. May 5D assault rifle. Magnum. Energy sword. Grenades. Everything he had. Against an army. And Vader. Cortana. Options for disabling the generator. Thermal exhaust port on the southern side. Plant charges there. And the whole thing comes down. But you'll need to get inside the perimeter first. Working on it. Chief activated his active camouflage, a temporary stealth system that bent light around his armor. It wouldn't last long, but it didn't need to. He moved toward the perimeter, ghost silent despite his armor's weight. Years of training made him nearly invisible even without the camo. A stormtrooper patrol passed within meters. Didn't see him. He reached the bunker line, placed a charge on the ammunition depot, set timer for 5 minutes. Then he moved to the next position, and the next, planting charges throughout the complex's defensive positions. When they detonated, the chaos would cover his assault on the generator itself. Timer, 30 seconds. Chief positioned himself near the thermal exhaust port. Ready. Timer, 10 seconds. He could feel it, the weight of the moment. Everything he'd fought for. Everyone counting on him. The rebellion. Humanity. The galaxy itself. Timer. 0. The charges detonated simultaneously. 20 explosions ripped through the Imperial defensive positions. Ammunition depots went up in massive fireballs. Bunkers collapsed. AT-AT walkers stumbled as their support structures were destroyed. The garrison descended into chaos, and Chief ran, straight toward the generator. Through the confusion, past stormtroopers too disoriented to shoot, through smoke and fire. He reached the thermal exhaust port, pulled his last charges. A red lightsaber ignited 10 feet away. "Hello, Spartan," Vader said calmly. "I have been expecting you." Master Chief and Darth Vader stood facing each other in the shadow of the shield generator. Around them, the Imperial garrison was still reacting to the explosions, trying to restore order. But in this moment, for these two warriors, nothing else existed. "You came alone," Vader observed, "knowing I would be here, knowing this would likely be your death. Why? Mission comes first. Always has. Admirable. Foolish, but admirable." Vader's lightsaber hummed, casting red light across the forest floor. "You could have sent others. Your fellow Spartans, rebel soldiers. Why sacrifice yourself? Because I'm the best chance of success. And because some fights you face alone. Indeed, this will be one of them." Above, Chief heard the roar of engines. The rebel fleet had arrived. The space battle had begun. "Your friends are here," Vader said, "but they cannot help you. The shield is still active. The Death Star's weapon is charged, and you are trapped here with me. I've been trapped before, still here. Your confidence is impressive. Misplaced, but impressive." Vader raised his free hand. "This time, there will be no escape. No interruptions. Just you and I. Warrior against warrior." Chief drew his energy sword. The blue blade ignited. "Then let's finish this." They moved simultaneously. Energy sword met lightsaber in a shower of sparks. Chief attacked with Spartan precision, fast, brutal, efficient. Vader countered with Sith mastery flowing, powerful, augmented by the Force. The forest around them became a battleground. Trees were cut down by stray blade strikes, ground torn up by Force pushes. The air itself seemed to crackle with energy. Chief felt Vader's power pushing against him, the Force trying to crush him, to lift him, to throw him. His armor's systems strained under the assault, but he'd faced worse. The Flood's mental attacks. Forerunner, reality-bending technology. Compared to that, even Vader's Force powers were manageable. He landed a solid hit, his energy sword cutting through Vader's cape and scoring the armor beneath. First blood. Vader responded with force lightning. Chief's shields absorbed most of it, but the overflow reached his armor's systems. Warnings flashed across his HUD. Shield strength, 60%, 45%, 30%. You are strong, Vader admitted. Stronger than any Jedi I have faced. But strength alone is insufficient. Then it's good I have more than strength. Chief activated a tactical package he'd been saving. His armor's systems overclocked, giving him a burst of enhanced speed and strength for 60 seconds. He became a blur. Strikes came from impossible angles. His fists hit Vader's armor with enough force to dent the thick plating. His blade found gaps in Vader's defense. Vader struggled to keep up. For the first time in years, he felt pressured, overwhelmed. This Spartan was pushing him to his limits. Enough. Vader unleashed a force scream, a wave of dark side energy mixed with sonic force. It was an attack that had shattered Durasteel walls and killed dozens of soldiers simultaneously. Chief's shields dropped to zero. His armor's systems went haywire. He was thrown backward, crashing through 3 trees before slamming into the 4th. Warning lights filled his HUD. Multiple system failures, shields offline, motion tracker glitching, structural damage to chest plate. But he was still alive. He pushed himself up, spitting blood inside his helmet. Vader was approaching, lightsaber ready for the killing blow. Chief's hand found his magnum. Drew it. Aimed. Vader was 10 feet away. 5 feet. Chief fired. 6 shots, perfectly placed. Vader deflected 4 with his lightsaber. The 5th hit his shoulder armor penetrated, damaged cybernetics. The 6th hit his respirator's chest unit. Vader stumbled. His breathing became labored, mechanical sounds stuttering. The damage had affected his life support. They were both hurt now, both at their limits. You are remarkable, Vader gasped. No one has wounded me this badly since Obi-Wan. You have earned my respect. Don't want your respect, just want you to stay down. That I cannot do. Vader raised his hand one final time. Every remaining bit of power he had channeled into one attack. Force Crush, designed to collapse Chief's armor, to destroy his body from the inside out. Chief felt it, the invisible pressure increasing, his armor's frame groaning. Systems failing one by one. This was it. He couldn't counter this, couldn't survive it. But he didn't need to survive. He just needed to complete the mission. With his last strength, Chief threw the charge, the explosives he'd been carrying, armed and ready. It sailed through the air toward the thermal exhaust port. Vader sensed it, reached out with the force to stop it. The charge entered the port and detonated. The explosion rippled through the shield generator's internal systems. Safety protocols failed, energy containment breached. The massive structure began to shake, alarms blaring. No. Vader's concentration broke. The Force Crush failed. Chief collapsed, gasping for breath, his armor barely functional. But he'd done it. The generator was failing. Above, in space, the shield, protecting the Death Star, flickered and died. Lasky's voice crackled through Chief's damaged comm. Chief, the shield is down. Repeat, the shield is down. All fighters, begin your attack run. Through the trees, Chief could see pelicans dropping from orbit. His team, the Spartans and ODSTs, arriving exactly on schedule. The cavalry had arrived. The forest of Endor had become a war zone. Pelicans landed in rapid succession, deploying Spartans and ODSTs who immediately engaged the Imperial garrison. The 501st Legion Vader's personal troops fought back with practiced discipline, but they were outnumbered and outgunned by UNSC forces. Fred, Kelly, and Linda fought their way toward Chief's last known position. Blue Team together again, cutting through stormtroopers like they weren't even there. Chief! Fred's voice over the comm. Where are you? Generator. South side. Chief's voice was weak, strained. Vader's here. We're coming. Negative. Mission first. Support the assault. I've got Vader. John, that's an order, Fred. Blue Team hesitated, torn between duty and loyalty. Then Fred made the call. Understood. Blue team, secure the generator complex. Osiris, Majestic, support rebel fighters on the Death Star assault. Move out. The Spartans scattered to their assignments, leaving Chief and Vader alone in the forest. Darth Vader had recovered somewhat. His armor's automatic repair systems had stabilized his respirator. The damage remained, but he could function, could fight. He found Master Chief leaning against a tree, armor sparking, clearly damaged, but still holding his energy sword, still ready to fight. You destroyed the generator, Vader said. Not angry, not even disappointed, just acknowledging. The Death Star is vulnerable. The rebellion will likely succeed. That was the plan. Your sacrifice allowed it. You knew you would not survive this mission, yet you came anyway. It's what Spartans do. Suicide missions, impossible odds. We succeed, or we die trying. Vader walked closer, lightsaber lowered but still ignited. I have fought many enemies. Jedi, Sith, warriors from 1,000 worlds. But you are unique. No force powers. No supernatural abilities, just training, technology, and will. And you nearly defeated me. Nearly doesn't count. No, it does not. Vader raised his lightsaber. Which is why I must end this. You are too dangerous to allow to live. Too inspirational. If the galaxy learns that one soldier without the Force can stand against the Empire's greatest weapon, it will give them hope. And hope is more dangerous than any weapon. Chief pushed himself upright, ignoring the pain, ignoring the damage warnings filling his HUD. He raised his energy sword. Then come finish it. They began to circle each other. Two warriors at the end of their strength, both knowing this was the final confrontation. No more interruptions, no more escapes. Just this moment. Above them, the sky lit up with explosions as the space battle raged. The Death Star II firing its main weapon, destroying rebel capital ships with each shot. The Infinity's Mach guns tearing through Star Destroyers, TIE fighters and X-Wings dogfighting through the debris field. But Chief and Vader heard none of it, saw none of it. Their entire focus was on each other. Tell me, Spartan, Vader said quietly. Do you fear death? I've died before. It didn't take a jest. Even now, facing your end, you maintain composure. Remarkable. What about you? Do you fear death? Vader paused. Behind his mask, behind the anger and pain and dark side corruption, something human flickered. I fear nothing. The dark side has consumed all such weakness. That's not an answer. It is the only answer I have. They stopped circling, 10 feet apart. The forest quiet around them despite the distant battle sounds. This was it. Master Chief John 117, the last Spartangan II, humanity's greatest warrior, veteran of 40 years of impossible victories, versus Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith, the Emperor's enforcer, terror of the galaxy. One soldier, one Sith, one final test of warrior against warrior. Chief's finger rested on his energy sword's activation stud, his body tensed, ready to move despite the damage, despite the pain. Vader's hand tightened on his lightsaber. The Force gathered around him, dark and powerful, preparing for the final attack. Neither spoke, neither moved. The moment stretched, eternal, perfect. Two legends at their absolute peak, about to clash in a battle that would decide everything. Chief's muscles coiled, ready. Vader's power surged, ready. And then, the Battle of Endor was won. The Death Star II was destroyed. Emperor Palpatine died aboard the station. The Galactic Empire began to collapse. The rebellion transformed into the New Republic. But in the forests of Endor, two warriors fought a battle that would become legend. Rebel forces found evidence of the confrontation. Scorched earth, destroyed trees. A crater where the fight had taken place, but no bodies. Master Chief John 117 was listed as missing in action. Status: unknown. Darth Vader's fate remained a mystery. Some reports claimed he died saving his son. Others claimed he vanished into the forest. The Unsc Infinity remained in the Star Wars galaxy, helping the New Republic establish order, searching for their missing hero. Captain Lasky's final log entry. Chief always said Spartans never die, they're just missing in action. I have to believe he's out there, somewhere, fighting, surviving, because that's what John does. He always comes back. And until we find a body, until we have proof, Master Chief is MIA. Not dead, just missing. Blue Team's statement. We've searched every kilometer of that forest. Found his energy sword. Found blast marks from Vader's lightsaber. Found evidence of a fight that should have killed both of them. But we didn't find him. John survived worse. The Flood, the Forerunners, the destruction of Halo rings. One Sith Lord isn't enough to kill him. He'll come back. He always does. Rebel intelligence reports. Unconfirmed sightings of a tall figure in damaged green armor in the Outer Rim. Local populations claim a mysterious warrior has been defending remote colonies from Imperial remnants. Additionally, reports of a black armored figure matching Vader's description have surfaced. Some claim he survived, others believe it's a ghost story. Both remain unverified. Mon Mothma's address to the New Republic. We owe our freedom to many heroes. The pilots who destroyed the Death Star, the soldiers who fought in countless battles, and the mysterious warriors from another galaxy who arrived in our darkest hour. Master Chief and the Unsc Infinity turned the tide of the war. Without them, the rebellion would have fallen. To Chief, wherever you are, the galaxy remembers. The galaxy honors your sacrifice, and the galaxy hopes for your return. Somewhere in the Outer Rim, a damaged Pelican dropship sits in a clearing. Inside, a figure in green armor works on repairs. The armor is scorched, dented, barely functional. But the warrior inside is alive. A holographic AI appears Cortana's fragment. Chief, I've finally got communications back online. I can contact Infinity. The warrior pauses in his work. Not yet. Still have work to do here. Work? Chief, the war is over. The Empire is falling. You can go home. There are still people who need help. Imperial remnants attacking colonies. Warlords taking advantage of the chaos. Can't leave while they're still fighting. You're always fighting. When does it end? The warrior is quiet for a long moment. When everyone's safe. When there's no one left to protect. That's when it ends. That's never, Chief. That's fighting forever. Then that's what I do. The warrior returns to his repairs. In the distance, smoke rises from a burning settlement. The warrior sees it, stops working, picks up his assault rifle. Cortana, mark that location. Chief, you're in no condition. Mark it. Marked. The warrior walks toward the smoke, toward the fighting, toward the people who need him. Because that's what Spartans do. They fight, they protect, they never give up, and they never, ever die. They're just missing in action.